Welcome back. So our main focus until now has actually been building the backend and setting up WebSockets on the backend. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to start creating a front end now, so we can actually start passing data from the front end to the backend, right? That's kind of the goal of everything. So we're going to try and set up the Angular now, just the basic plumbing, just to get it started, just to create the project, and that's what we're going to do this lesson. So let's try and jump into Angular IO. That's pretty much where we need to go when we need to figure out how to get started with Angular code right here. I'll go to the Getting Started guide, and there's actually a Get Started right here. And under that one, you can go and you can see some of the things that are required to start working with the Angular project. And if you notice, they require Node.js. We already have that, happy days. NPM Package Manager, we already used that, happy days. It already came with Nest, right? Or we needed that to do Nest coding. Now the next thing we need is to install the Angular CLI right here. Now let's just go and do that right away. I'll jump back to my old project right here, the backend project, and I'll just put that directly into the terminal down here. npm install globally Angular CLI. Now while that installs, it's okay to do this in the old project because this is not specifically for the project. This is a global installation. That's why we have the -g right there. It's globally installed, so it doesn't really matter from where you run this command right here. As soon as I've done that, I can actually start running ng commands right here. So that's pretty neat. Just like we had the nest command, now we have ability to run ng command. So what we're installing here is a CLI. That's what we call a command line interface. So that just means you can start writing different commands used for Nest or Angular, ng in this case. Good. Another thing we should notice is right now in the terminal, we are actually inside the old project. I don't want to put my Angular project in here. I want to have a project for front end and I want to have a project for back end to be completely different. So let's go out one folder. If you're on a Windows machine, you can write cd ... to go out a folder, or you can write cd space ... On a Mac, you can write cd space ... only. So you cannot do the other one. This is not allowed on a Mac. So that's why always I'm just used to doing the space in there and just go back one folder. Now, if we do an ls right now, you'll see that we are now in the folder that has this folder inside it. So that's where we want to create our new project. Good. How do we create a new project? Well, if we scroll further down, you'll see it's very easy. You just write ng for the command, the CLI command, new because you want to create a new project, and then you give it a name. Now there are some conventions we need to uphold in Angular, so let's try and do it. Let's say we wanted this to be called ng new and then the same name like this project right here. But of course with the front end right here in the end. Let's try and run this and see what happens. Angular asks me, do you want to use strict terms from Angular? And I say, yes, I want to be strict. And right away it fails because you're actually not allowed in an Angular application. You are allowed to put these minuses in here or the dashes, but you're not allowed to put in numbers only after a dash. So let's try and do this again and just write year 2021 just to show you. And now it actually allows to do this. I'll say yes again because I want to be strict. And then it starts asking me other things. Do you want to use routing? Yeah, we might as well just say yes, because I want to use routing later on. That's a way for us to navigate to different pages in Angular. Do we want to use CSS, SCSS styling? What do you want to use? I'm going to use SCSS. That's where I'm most comfortable. And then it just starts creating our project and installing all kinds of packages. So the installation is done. If I do a ls right here, or dir if you're on a Windows, I can actually see that the backend and the front end are now available in this folder. So what I want to do is I want to open a second project now that opens this project right here. So let's try and do that. So I've gone to the folder right here, and here we have the front end, and let's just press open. And notice it'll ask me if I want to open it in a new window or this window. I'll say new because I want to now have two different open projects right here. And there we go. Now we have the front end available. So now we have both the backend and the front end up and running.